This is Beau. Beau is a 7-year-old collie mix. He's a full collie or collie mix? Full collie. And he was adopted out of our friends at Hearts United out of Auburn, Nebraska. And this is what Beau basically does all day, is he sits in this corner. Hunter is going to back up now, and I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of a technique that you can use if you have a dog that is shut down, kind of like Beau has. So basically, Beau, that's Beau's safe spot, and he hangs out in the corner. He doesn't come out. He'll come out. Well, I was able to lure him out a couple times with some dog psychology tricks, but normally he just stays back there. Doesn't really come out and engage with his guardian. She lets him outside in the yard. He kind of darts past her. And so he's really just kind of shut himself down by whatever happened in his past that's got him just so just defeated that he just wants to survive. So he's just kind of hanging out back there. So I'm going to have Hunter kind of turn the camera because it looks like he might actually be in the mood to do that. Can you see over there as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can you see the treats on the floor in the shot? So basically what I've done is I'm using really high value training treats. These are chicken liver. And so what I've done is when I first sat down, and excuse me for not being in the shot, just go ahead and keep it kind of pointing that direction so if he comes out, hopefully, and try to not just watch him through the monitor. So basically what I did when I came in is I just started throwing these treats on the ground. I didn't go introduce myself to him. I didn't try to entice or lure him over. I just threw one treat, then I threw another treat, then I threw another treat. There's about 6 or 8 treats on the floor, and we ignored him. I didn't try to entice him to come there. I just made them available for him. Basically, after a couple minutes, probably I think the first time was about 5 or 10 minutes in, Beau got up and started taking the treats on his own. It looks like he might be up doing this again. If he does, this will be the 3rd or 4th time he's done since I've been here. And the guardian said she was really impressed, and normally he doesn't come out of there at all. But she does have some friends that come over, and the friends go over and they want to engage with him. They want to try to pet him. They want to talk to him. They want to and they all want to help him. But the problem is he just thinks the big spotlight is on him, and it makes him feel insecure. So when you have a fearful dog like this, one of the best things you do is ignore them, leave them alone, give them the ability to have distance between them and whatever they're fearful of, and in this Beau's case is probably everything. So what I've done was, and this is kind of a video for the guardian who does have friends come over and they want to help. Everybody knows about Beau and they want to help Beau. So what you want to do is I want to have the guardian come over and I have you sit in the same spots that you were and I was. And so the guardian is kind of sitting on the couch to my left, and then I'm just sitting here on the couch kind of facing Beau. When you do this, you don't want to talk to Beau. You don't want to look at Beau. You don't want to entice him in any ways. I'm going to leave these tricky trainer chicken liver treats, and have you give them to your house guest, and have them throw it. So you're just going to throw the first one, so it's right up against the bricks there, and then wait a minute or so, and then throw a second treat. And you're not saying, "Hey, Beau, guess what? Look, I'm throwing." He's going to hear them, he's going to smell them, he's going to see them. So the reason we're throwing it is you can see the chair over there. There's a little bit of a channel between the chair and the fireplace of vision where he can look, looking for the camera, looking left to right. And so I've got some of the treats positioned there so he can see them from his safe sanctuary. So we're going to throw until we get about 6 to 8 treats there. And if you notice, I've got some of them extending into the room. Now this is more advanced. At first I want you to keep most of the treats between like the edge of the chair and the fireplace. No further than like the credentia that's to the camera's right. And so we want him, all he has to do is come forward, he gets some good treats, and then he gets to go back to his own place, and there's no pressure because he does it whenever he wants. When he does it, don't make a big deal out of it, don't have or any of those sounds, just keep on talking with your conversation. If you're excited, you're like, oh my God, I'm really excited that Beau got up and do it, and I'm trying to talk without a lot of emotion in my voice, because it's normal for us to feel that emotion, but that will send him scurrying away. So eventually what Beau's going to do is come out and get these treats, and what we're helping Beau do is practice moving forward, which helps dogs process things. Something good happened, he got all these tasty reinforcers, and then whenever he felt like going back, he went back, and he did all of this on his own volition without any pressure or influence from the humans. I guess we influence a little bit, but we're not trying to force him to do it. We want him to do it on his own timetable. Now, if he comes out here during this video, I have a clicker here. And what I'm going to have the guardian do, because I'm going to have the guardian doing this at home herself. And when you're doing this at home, what I want you to do is kind of the same sort of thing. You want to have about 6 or 8 treats between the edge of the credenza here in the fireplace, kind of over there. And then what you want to do is every time he licks one up, you're going to click the instant he licks one up. You're not going to say anything. All we want to do is create classical conditioned response. Every time I lick up a treat, I get a treat. I hear the clicking sound while I have this treat on my tongue. It makes me feel good about these treats. So the idea eventually was we can use the clicker to indicate that we like him doing things. So what we would eventually do is when your guests come out, you could eventually do this with the guest, but if the click sends them away, then they should stop doing the click and just let him come out. It's more important for him to come out and move slightly closer towards the humans and then go back on his own. But the clicker, if we can get him, and that's why I think you're probably going to end up doing this at home when you're here relaxed. Well, that's an antique. I saw the old school TV here. And so eventually he starts to associate the click is the indication that I'm about to get a treat. So then what we would do is when you have your friends come over, you're going to have about 6 to 8 treats on that in between, right next to the fireplace. Then you're going to have a couple of them out here. The idea is to get him coming a little bit further into the room, a little bit further in the room. And if he doesn't get distracted with the click, then you would also click when he licks up each one of these treats. But again, that's something where if he doesn't do it, there we go. All right, so we'll see if I can. There we go. So you see how that kind of startled him. So I'm not going to do him anymore here because this is a big step for him to do on his own. And he's paused and looked at me, and that was his way of saying that's too much for me. So I think with you, you're going to have a lot of patience, but you're able to come home, turn your TV on, sit down and watch TV and just watch on the corner. And when you see him come out, have your clicker hanging on a dangly like this and just click each time he clicks it up. And if he only gets one and runs back in there, that's okay. Just leave the treats out there, maybe throw a couple more, and then do the same thing. And click, click. So I'm just going to say click when I would be clicking, but it's pretty easy to identify. Just click every time he licks it up. Preferably right the instant after the treat goes in his mouth, not before. So you can see he's coming out and he's getting him on his own. His head looks good. His body language looks pretty good. He's definitely underweight. And I see that little bit of a lean that he looks like he's stealing second base with his back legs. That was great. He's lingering. He turned around. He didn't run away. These are all really good. What we want him to do is come out of the darkness and on his own and linger on his own when he feels like it. Now you see his back legs. I call it stealing second base. So he's going to lean way far over to try, and you probably see it from this angle, to get that treat. And if he doesn't do that lean, that's an indication I feel comfortable. But if you see the lean, he's like got his foot on the base. He wants to run away from it as quickly as he can. That was great. So he came out. This is the 3rd or 4th time during the session he's come out and do this, and the guardian didn't think he would do it at all. And so there we are. And now I'm lingering and coming out again and looking for even more. And so that means he's liking what we're doing. And so that little toss was too much for him. So we want to have these treats out, and so eventually you would get to the point where when he's out there, your guest could throw a treat, but have him throw just one after he's gotten most of the treats when he's lingering. And if he moves back away, then no more. Don't throw any more treats. Just have a copious amount of treats. He comes in and gets them all. So for your guest's going to come in here, sit down. Let me kind of summarize this, and you can come back to shooting me for this one. So basically, you and your guest are going to come. You're going to sit here. Your guest is going to sit here. You're going to give your guest these treats. Give them about 20 treats. So we're going to throw about 10 of those treats, and about 80% of them should be between the chair and the fireplace. And we're just going to wait. And when he comes out and gets them, we're not going to make any expert exaltations or anything like that. Now, at the same time, you twice a day or more, I would like you to throw the treats out there and be out here with your clicker. And watch your TV and just kind of do your normal thing. And he comes out, click, click. And eventually you should be able to click each time he gets the treats and he doesn't have a negative association because he gets something positive. So I would spend about a week doing this yourself until you get to the point where you can click and he doesn't stop and move away before you start trying to have your guests come over. So your guest comes over. First thing I would like you to do is when your guests come over, have your guest wait outside. You put him on the leash, and you, your guest, and Beau go for a walk around the block. The guest should not try to pet Beau or give any treats or don't even look at him. Definitely no direct eye contact. Walk around the block. Then we come back in. You're going to take him off the leash. He's going to go right back there. Your guest in here, sit here. Wait about 5 minutes before you start throwing the treats. Then throw one, wait about a minute. Throw another one, wait about a minute. Doesn't have to be exact, but we just don't want to throw like 10 in a row, boom, boom, boom. We want to throw, and he's going to hear and he's going to see it, and he's going to smell it. Eventually we get to a tipping point, probably about 6 to 8 treats, where he feels, I want to come and get those. And at first, like I said, we want to keep the first time for each guest, we want to keep all the treats between the chair and the fireplace. All I have to do is come and get them and leaves. And if this guest wants to linger, Then after maybe about 5 minutes after he goes back away, then start loading the treats up again. But this time, maybe 6 treats are between the chair and the fireplace, and 1 or 2 are like just a little bit on this side of the chair. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we wait for him to come and do that. And if he doesn't do it in about 20 minutes, you probably pull the plug and your guest can leave. But it'd be nice. I think what you should start seeing is what's happening here with me as he starts getting more and more confidence, because they're not trying to come and say hello anymore. They're not looking at me. They're just, when they come, it rains these tasty treats and then nothing that I have to deal with, more than I'm able to deal with. So as you're doing this, maybe each time more and more of the treats are kind of lingering in the room, try to keep, like, you have a halfway point in the middle of your big screen TV. That's probably about as far as he's going to come at first. So until you're like, the guest is here for their 2nd or 3rd visit, try to keep them gradually coming this way. But eventually it'd be nice that they're all over here, as well as, just so there's a trail. He's getting a copious amount of treats. And again, no eye contact, no yes, no any of that stuff. We just want to make it very casual. It's just normal for him to come and get treats. What we're doing is helping him practice coming and going away. So for each guest, if you do 3 iterations of where you throw the treats, wait long enough for him to come and get them, and then throw the treats, wait for long enough for him to get them, throw the treats, long to get them, and then the guest leaves. And again, no salutations whatsoever towards the dog. So now each time you have a guest come over, he goes for a walk first, which kind of stimulates him and wakes him up. Then the guest is throwing the treat, so it has a little bit of the guest scent on them. He's practicing moving forward. And if you can eventually get to the point where it'd be nice if the guest had the clicker, or you can click for the guest. Every time it goes out while the guest is here, we're clicking when he gets the treats. So this is the first stage. This is a longer video, so I'm not going to go into more than this. I just want you guys to focus on this. This is definitely going to be a dog where we need to come back for a follow-up session. I don't mean that but basically what we want to do is just build up his confidence and create a foundation for him that we can start building things on top of. Well, that over there is Beau, and these are some tips that you can use if you have a very fearful dog to help it start to come out of the shadows using some positive reinforcement.